to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and today we are going to have another Sailfish OS related topic. And as you can see, I have a new app, or just downloaded it, which is going to help me to track all my different sport activities, which can be, for instance, bike and all the things you see here. So this is running, this is biking with a speed bike or whatever, a mountain bike, walking, inline skating, skiing, just walking again, but tracking more or less, and something that you don't know probably. But in the end, those are pretty much not important anyway, so I don't really know why they are putting it in there. Maybe in future they will do it, but at the moment there's no real difference between them as far as I can see. Anyway, the most important thing about this is there is no internet connection or something which is going to transfer those informations, or where you have gone through and so on involved here. So no service that is going to get you data as long as you're not setting it up. You can set it up, but you don't have to, and you can really locally save all the different informations here and use them. If you want to, for instance, just have a tracking history or something, so you can see where you walked through or where you hiked to. And in the end, the setup you already know is more or less my Sailfish OS empowered Sony Xperia 10 Mark III. In this case, we are going to use that. I have my laptop at the side here, it's standing here, and that one is connected with the TV, and I'm using the application called Screencast, which is going to give us the information I can see on my smartphone on the big screen. If you want to know more about that, there is a link to other videos where I'm talking more in depth about that. And so let's have a look at this little app, which is pretty nice, and somehow it could be better, but in the end it's a pretty nice one. I highly recommend it to everybody who wants to track any kind of activities they are doing. And for that I'm going to show you. First off, we are going to go to the other tab here, and I will have to tell him to stay there. There we go. And as you can see, you can now see what I'm doing here with a little bit of delay probably, but that is not due to the smartphone itself or something, and some problem with it, but by the technology I'm using here, there is a little bit of delay involved. So the real speed you can see on this screen. I'm going to turn around to show you what's going on here and what you can really do with it. First off, to get this app, it's highly important, especially if you are on the newest version of Sailfish OS with the 4.5 iterations at least. And first off, go to the store, and you should have Storeman, for instance, installed, or you can go to the website Open Web Browser to get the parts there. Go in there and then go just to search in the upper list, for instance, if you have this client installed, and just put in Kuri. Kuri seems to be a word in different languages, and one of the languages, Esperanto, I think it's called, which is more or less a language which is a combination of different languages. So it was meant to be some kind of European language some day ago, or maybe it will be, I'm not sure. But at the moment it's really just more or less an artificial language which is not spoken by anybody. But anyway, in this Esperanto is Kuri means something like walk, go for sport, something like that. But as you can see, you can already see the app here, so Kuri. And one problem with this app is that in the newest version of Sailfish OS, if you go to the notes, you can already see that the QTConnectivity Bluetooth one has been more or less removed. So you have to provide it by yourself as an app provider. And to do that, you really have to get the other library you can see here, so QTConnectivity. So first off, if you want to install this on your new smartphone or the 4.5 smartphone or higher, you will have to first off install this. So just click on that. Sorry for that. I'm not even sure if you can do that here. If not, you will have You just will have to search for it, so go to Open Web Browser and search for Qt Connectivity. Maybe this is even, no. And if you don't find it here, give me one sec, I'm not sure if we can find it here. Open Connect, Screencast, there's Screencast for instance. No, probably not, it's too hard to find at least. Yeah, too much to do. So let's go to Sham. If you don't have Sham installed, there's a nice little Sham GUI. You can get that in the Open Web Browser store too and install this one. Anyway, here you can download this other package. For that, you're just going to have to go to one of the categories, for instance. It really doesn't matter, or you just go to Packages. Go to Packages and search here for Qt, or better, Bluetooth might be a good one. Give me one sec so I can get it in. Qt Connectivity. There, for instance, it is. This, for instance, should do what you need. So just get this one, install it. If you have done that, then you can go to Strawman again and try to install it. If you don't do it this way, you might run into a problem. So really, first off, go to Sham, for instance, install this Bluetooth stack, and after that you should be able to install this if you are on 4.5. If you are, for instance, on 4.4 or earlier versions, you should not be required to do this. So just whatever version you have, first off, install that. If you did that, then just go to the upper menu here. First off, get the repository, and after that, if that is already installed, then you should be able to install it by going here, and then instead of start, in this case, would be install. If you do that, it should give you a new entry, which is looking more or less like this, Kuri in this case. And I'm going to show you what's going on with Kuri here. So in the end, as you can see, simple app, but really nice. It already shows me one of my drives. It was a car drive, so don't have a look at the speed or something. I'm going to use Kuri in future for other stuff too. For instance, I'm going to go skating and stuff like that. But in the end, for now, this is just to show you something. And if I now click on that, you can see, for instance, my track I drove in this case, and all other informations about it. For instance, you can have a look at the distance I got here, at the speed I had there, probably about the pulse. If you have a pulse, a pulse. Good question what that name would be, I'm not sure. For instance, if you have a compatible smartwatch or something, you can, for instance, get this connected and get the parts from it. Or, for instance, of course, the range or whatever, the different things. You can then scroll in here, sorry for that. You can go in here, have a look at the different positions, where that was and so on, and watch it here. In the end, I just got one of the informations where it's harder to see where I am. So in the end, you can of course set this up. If you click on this, for instance, you can have different kind of card styles, more or less. So for instance, satellite, as I'm going in here, you can have satellite with streets, dark theme, and the bright theme. And you can, for instance, just show only the street and stuff like that. So it depends on what you want as a card style, with, for instance, the different street names involved and stuff like that. I just used one that is not really distinguishable, so this could be somewhere else, just to show you what's going on. And now you can, for instance, go through this. Just go to this and see, for instance, at a certain amount in the time range, you can see that down below, how fast you were, where you were. So for instance, the blue point, of course, tells you at which point of your track you were at a certain time. And for instance, if you want to do that, can skip through here. And if you want to see more of that, you can, for instance, do this and have this little diagram featured here too, which is a nice thing. So for instance, how high the altitude where you were at a certain point, and of course the different velocity or speed you had at a certain point can be seen here too. What I think is missing to make this a little bit more fun to see what you are doing would, for instance, be a calorie part. It really doesn't have to be based on the pulse or something. Just take the information you get from this, because you're starting it here, from the activity to just calculate it with a, I don't know, average of different usage of, for instance, the calories for a certain activity or something. That would be fine. It's not in here at the moment. So all you can do at the moment is you can go up here. There are the settings. I'm going to show you them. A couple of different things in here. For instance, you can go, of course, to the general settings and just set up to automatically save, which is fine, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Import export, I'm not sure what this would do. So in the end you can see where it is going to be saved at, which is fine. So you could, for instance, delete the information later on, or just get them downloaded and import them into a new smartphone, for instance. So this is export import for that. You can have a look at the settings for the map. More or less the same stuff we already saw before. So you can, for instance, say, I want to have the current position at the car to be centered, or I can, for instance, have the track centered on my card, so to see what I already run, for instance. You can have the different starts, I already taught you about them, and the cache. I don't really know what that is all about. In general, for the normal parts, you should be fine with 50, but you can increase that to 250 MBs, for instance. If you have some kind of a tracker to track your heartbeat or something, or pulse, you can go in here, connect to the Bluetooth device then, and just try it like that. It's not going to be, for instance, currently I'm doing this with my Garmin. The Garmin is not compatible with this one. There's a Amazfit, for instance. If you want to use one of those, this should be compatible. At the moment I'm just using my Garmin smartwatch and I'm not connecting it to the internet to have more or less the same part. So this one is never connected to the internet, and I'm just using it as an autark device, so nothing is going to go out. But in the end, that is possible here. So you could, for instance, use a Amazfit and connect it to this and have, for instance, a heartbeat then in here. Doesn't matter. In the end, you could, if you want to, so this is the option you have if you need to put it into the internet for some kind of reason I don't know about, but you will have a reason for it. You can connect it to Strava if you want to, but for that you have to put in a username and, of course, some kind of credentials, so you can do that there. Other than that, it's really not important to go in there. Now, just have a look at how we can create a new activity. For that, just go to activity, or start activity in this case. And now you see you have different kind of options, for instance, a HFM for heartbeat monitoring, more or less, or heart frequency monitoring or something. You can activate it or deactivate it, whatever you want to do here. If you have a device connected to your smartphones, it can be helpful, otherwise you really don't need that. Other than that, you can, for instance, go to deactivate your screen protector or screen saver, more or less. If you do that, in the end it's not going to just blend out the screen image here, so you always can see where you're at, and it's not going to fade out or something. Then up here you can, for instance, select one of the, sorry for that, there we go. Up here you can, for instance, select one of the different activities which are possible. I already taught you about them, but just use them. In the end, it really doesn't matter much, so it's not going to give you any kind of information about calorie usage or something. It's really just without that. Maybe it's a different if you have the heart frequency monitor active or something, I'm not sure. But in the end, After that, if you did that, just click on this, and now you can see we are starting a new one, and then just hit start and you can go for a hike, or in this case drive with a mountain bike or whatever. And of course all of this can be switched to different different things can be set up here again. You can, for instance, get rid of the map if you don't need that. You don't want to see that, you can just see all the different things. And as you can see, here's a calorie, which could be used in this case, but as mentioned before, I think it is only available if you have the pulse or heartbeat monitor active too. Yeah, and other than that, just start, go for your hike, and after that you can just have a look at the different statistics to your hike and stuff like that. And this is more or less what all this is about. The whole thing depends on you to have GPS activated, so the GPS should be active, and then it's going to get all the different information from the GPS navigation. It connects with my smartphone very well, works and should do what you would expect from that. So this is more or less what I can show you about this little app. It's a really nice one, as you can see. It's very streamlined, very easy to navigate through and work with, and of course it's only necessary, or if you really need it, or if you don't. It really depends on if you want to track your sport activities or not, and of course if you're doing sport at all. So I hope you had fun with that. As mentioned before, it's called Kuri. The different download links can be found down below. And other than that, hope you had fun with this episode. Hope you find a new great little companion app here, and hopefully it's going to help you very much. Otherwise, don't use it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any kind of comments, questions or whatever, put them down below into the commentary section down below this video. And other than that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you didn't till now. And then have a great day, see you around, and bye. Bye.